KD spoke about his trade request in the summer and went into detail. Said that he didn't like the way they were practicing. He went to Nash, and he was saying that he wants to be pushed and
no shoot-arounds, more hard practices.
Go harder and stuff like that. And listen, I commend him for that. There's nothing wrong with that. But asking that out of Steve Nash, you weren't getting that.
I don't know if I even necessarily believe that KD asked that, because KD ain't the vocal. He's not the vocal guy. He's the use my ghost account on Twitter to bring it up and talk about a guy.
That is true, but if he's gonna come out and say it, I think there's validity behind it.
Yeah, I think he brought it up. Maybe he didn't demand it.
Right.
He might have been like, maybe.
You know what I'm saying? He probably mentioned it, but it wasn't probably one of those things like, listen, this is what we need to do. You know what I'm saying? Because I think if that would have been the case, I'm sure they would have made changes. But you know, that wasn't the part that bothered me.
Because as a leader, you should say that, but as a leader, you should make sure that it happens. But go ahead. Yeah,
the part that bothered me is how you could be able to throw your teammates under the bus and say, "Yo, you got Royce O'Neal and this dude out here, and you got me out there, and we expect to win." Like, how you expect to win? Like, for me, I always say that everything that you say has consequence, right? So if I say some wild shit right here and I disrespect somebody in this room, in my head, before I say it, I'm already making up my mind to say, all right, cool, I gotta prepare to fight. Because there's certain things that you can say to people, and there's certain things you can't say to people, and there's certain things that when you say it,
you gotta be ready to fight.
You gonna be ready to fight. And for me, KD don't look like somebody that can fight.
I'm gonna give you a little pushback on that one.
So he don't look like somebody who can fight. So if it was me, if I'm a dude like Royce O'Neal, if I'm a dude like whatever, Seth Curry and all these other dudes on the team, like the next time I see you, we scrapping. Cause you gonna look at me. I'm an NBA player. I may not be you, but I'm here for a reason.
I'm a man and I made it.
I'm a man. I made it. I'm making millions. I'm doing things for my family. That's the Russ line, right? I'm doing things for my family. You're not gonna disrespect me like that. So either we gonna figure it out on the court, or we gonna have to figure it out like right here in the locker room. Like you already know what the Queens thing is. Like, let's talk around the corner, right? When somebody says that to you, you know what that means. You feel what I'm saying? We not speaking. So, how do you, as a player, as a leader, expect people to follow you when you say things like that? You can think it, you can't say it.
How wrong is he?
It's not about being wrong. It's about, like I said, you can think it. It's not right for me to tell you that. I can be on a team that I know is not talented. I'm not going to go to the media and say that. Because at the end of the day, I still need y'all to help me win. If I go to the media and I air y'all out like that and throw y'all under the bus, you don't have to play for me anymore.
How different is that from when LeBron came out when he was in Cleveland,
right,
and said, "My team is top heavy as
Miami."
No, he said that. He said that. No, he said that in Cleveland. He said that in Cleveland. That was the last year he said that in Cleveland.
Well, that's not the same, because you're not saying that the team is top heavy means they're an offensive team and they're not scoring a lot. That's not necessarily
top heavy can mean a lot.
Yeah, that's not necessarily a bad thing.
But
that means you don't have a defensive presence.
But he didn't mention names.
He ain't mentioned names.
First and last.
You understand what I'm saying?
If I'm your teammate, I'm gonna call you by your nickname.
Right.
If I'm saying your first and your last.
If I go on my podcast and say, yeah, you know, Al's been on my show a couple of times, but he been one of the worst guests I've. And
you'd be lying. But
instead of me saying, man, you know, I had some guests that it wasn't too great. There's a difference, right? I'm not gonna disrespect you like that.
You ain't yeah.
Because at that, if I say that and you come see me, I can't blame you for that. I gotta be ready for you.
It's different, bro.
I gotta be ready.
Got families, they're gonna be playing the next 3 days on sports.
Bro, I gotta see you in practice.
Like,
I gotta see you in practice right after you have this interview.
my wife
I'm
got to
swinging.
me off the practice.
I
with the
think
kids,
I think
say,
KD crossed the line.
Just finished talking shit about me on
When
TV.
does he never cross the line, fam?
We don't need a coach?
I think KD crossed the line when he brought up everybody's names and he talked about it. But
You can't do that to your teammates, bro.
you can't do that to your
Even
teammates.
Rodgers was anonymous.
Right.
Even Rodgers was like, some guys shouldn't be playing.
Yeah.
That was wild.
Like, you know what I'm
that
saying?
was wild, but he didn't say nobody.
And we all know that. When somebody says, hey, some people
Some of these guys shouldn't be here.
You know what he's talking about. But KD's naming names.
KD's naming name. What KD did was he came out, he said, yo, our starting lineup the other day was
Right.
He said the reason they expect us to win is because Seven's out there.
Okay then. That's
But-
disrespectful.
But you're a
It's
superstar.
disrespectful,
nigga.
Because at the end of the day, you're not scoring 135 points yourself. You're not.
But is he wrong when he said? I mean,
He is wrong.
Wrong, bro.
It's a team.
Yeah, you can't say that to your teammates.
you can't say
And
that
then
to
expect them to go into battle with you the next night.
Yeah, I'm like, no, you
You
got
can say that shit on the way out. You got
You know what I'm
traded.
saying?
You leaving.
That's one of the situations where if a screen is coming, I'm not calling it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not calling it. So if you get knocked out, it don't matter to me. I'm not hedging on screens. I'm gonna make you get beat every time on a double, on a pin down. I don't care because you've disrespected me. You feel what I'm saying? Like there's certain things in basketball or in sports you just don't do.
You don't throw your
And the
teammates
problem
under the
is
bus.
that here's the problem with KD. He's never been in this position before. He doesn't know what to do.
He doesn't want to be in that position though.
He doesn't want to, but he is. But he doesn't know what to do. So he's thinking that he's doing something good, but he's never led. So he doesn't know that he's doing something bad.
But
You know
he's
what I'm
not a
saying?
leader. He said he's not a leader.
Right. But he can say this because he's never had any training.
And I don't think it's fair for him to keep walking around. I'm not a leader. I'm not a leader. Because like once you get to a certain
Once you're the
echelon,
dude,
you
you're
have
looked
to
at as the
be. You're
leader.
looked at. And you're also a veteran. You know
Because
more than
my
these guys.
thing with KD, right? And this, like, there's a lot of times where he's full of crap. You don't think that you're not the leader. You just want to hoop, but yeah, you want to be put in the same category as LeBron James and MJ and Jordan.
Crazy.
How?
And then I'm sorry, but as a champion, I don't think you're supposed to say my legacy is the guys who helped in the league, who came in as rookies and they didn't know what to do, and now they've had great careers because of me. Like, as great as Jordan was, he's not going to say my greatest accomplishment in basketball was helping out Scottie Pippen get
Right.
6 rings.
His greatest accomplishment is winning 6 championships.
Back-to-back MVP, NBA Finals MVP, to be talking about other people's accomplishments as that's my legacy in basketball.
The dude,
I'm not
he's
jacking that, bro.
very
I think
Mercurial.
KD is
guided
soft.
and
Yeah,
mercurial.
yeah.
Yes.
I think KD is soft, and I think he's soft-natured. But at the end of the day, we knew that before he sat there and he did this piece.
At a certain point, it's not acceptable, bro.
Right.
You
It's
can't
not
be
an
in the job
excuse
for
no
10
more.
years talking about I don't have to tell
It's
you
not
what
an
to do. I
excuse no
can't
more.
tell you what things are.
Yeah, but then
Like-
at the end of the day, you got the guys who've been at the job for 10 years, and I know what they are. I know what to expect from you.
Nah, man,
Look,
that's true.
Like,
but
I'm not gonna be mad at you for being you because I know who you are.
But at the end of the day, most of those guys aren't supervisors and CEOs.
Yeah.
But he already said I don't want to be that guy.
But he
he's
is.
everything else.
But based on his skill and the amount of money that he's getting paid.
and the level of
Every job got that guy who's amazing at what they do. Don't need to be leading nobody. Every job got that guy who's in his role and in his space. He is the fucking man.
You should have never let him go to state there.
He don't need it. I mean,
there you go. There you go. If you didn't want that responsibility, you should have never left Golden State.
if you really want to understand KD, I put it to you like this: how many people got KD in their top 10 all time?
A lot. They keep telling people he's the number 1 player for 6-7 years now.
I don't.
Never got the LeBron smoke. He never got the LeBron smoke.
People will say.
Nah, I know what Al's talking about.
People will say KD is the best player or the best skilled player right now, and that argument is valid right now. How many people will sit there and say in my top 10 players all time.
Right.
I never hear KD.
That's facts.
And that leadership and all those qualities that we're sitting there saying KD don't have, and that KD is saying he don't got, are the reason why he never ascends to that. He's never going to be mentioned with Magic. He's never going to be mentioned with Jordan. He's never going to be mentioned with Kobe or LeBron or none of them.
I can't dispute it, but it feels like a cop-out.
It
feels like the ultimate cop-out.
I get you.
I mean, I feel you on why it's a cop-out. I mean, I just don't expect...
Oh, my nigga, it's 5-on-5. One guy changes so much of the team aspect. To sit there and say, I just want to hoop at this level.
That's the problem that the Nets have.
Yeah.
Is when you have two mercurial guys on the team,
Mm-hmm.
two guys that have weird personalities, you're not gonna go anywhere.
I mean, with Kyrie, it's totally different.
Those two guys, between the two of them, have arguably the most talent we've ever seen in the NBA. Period. We're talking about a guy who's 7 feet tall, who can shoot, who can do everything, right? We have a guy that's 6'2", 6'3", that has the greatest handle we've ever seen and is the best finisher at the rim for his size that we've ever seen, right?
But he likes to take a lot of PTO.
But what I'm saying is that just off talent alone, they're the greatest we've seen on a court.
Yeah.
If we're talking about on the court, KD's not the problem.
But because of their personalities, he is the problem on the court.
On the court, KD's not the problem.
He is, bro.
KD ain't the problem. Kyrie is the problem because Kyrie found too many reasons to not be on the court.
But my thing with KD is
court,
that the reason why I say
defensively,
it's a problem is because
You gotta inspire your guys.
right.
That's you can't expect KD to not be KD.
You're only going to go as far as that.
KD will never be like the problem
Right.
everybody
and
got
they
is
will
that
never win. Correct.
The problem is that everybody's expecting KD to be a leader. That's not him.
Right. So we need to stop expecting that they're going to win. He's going to be a
But
dude
to
that
what
gets
level, Al? Because I understand you're saying he's not gonna be.
He's not gonna be what he's not.
James, but in a 5-on-5 game, like you got to be able to say, "Hey, get back on the block," or call a play. Like you got to be able to do something.
Everything basketball, KD does. I'll give him that. If you're talking basketball on the court, KD does
For
it.
the teammates or for the team. I'm not talking about shooting and score. I'm talking about just being able to say, "Hey, man, I need you to be here, right here. I need you to guard this guy. I need you to kind of step it up a little." Like,
no, KD's not that guy. KD's not that guy.
Then I don't want him on my team.
Yeah, I don't know.
If I'm gonna pay you that much money, I don't want you on my team. If I'm gonna pay somebody that much money, I need this from you. I need this from you.
I'll give KD that cash because KD is that good. When you put the ball in his hands,
Al,
he's that good. I'm giving him that cash.
Outside of Golden State, what has KD done?
Exactly. KD was MVP.
I'm not talking about the individual performances and the achievements. I'm talking about as a team. What has he done?
KD damn near beat Golden State. Brought them when he was with OKC.
That was Russ.
That was not. Get out of here.
Russ had a better series than KD did.
Get out of here.
If you go back and look at the numbers, that's exactly what it was. I'm telling you.
Russ can't do what Russ was doing without KD did. That's how come Russ was what Russ was when KD left. Both of them are not
leaders. That's why they are where they are. That's what I'm saying. Like, people need to stop looking at a basketball player or an athlete because of their talent. Yep. Their talent's supposed to bring them. It's more than that.
Talented in the league,
everybody's talented.
Everybody ain't KD.
But the problem is that he's great on the court. He's not a great leader, so they're never gonna win. He's gonna be top 10 in scoring. He's gonna have 7, 10 scoring titles and all this shit. He's gonna have 2 rings, and he wasn't even the guy on his own team.
But that type of talent. He had a guy that he's getting
He's
one
Scottie Pippen.
With that kind of
that's
talent.
disrespectful at this
That's
point.
What he is.
That's disrespectful.
That's what he is.
Look,
bro.
You got me in a position where you got me in a position.
You can't put him in the echelon of Magic. You can't put him in the echelon of Bird. You can't put him in the echelon with Kobe or
I think
LeBron.
he's saying because he told you from the jump, I'm not a leader. You can't expect
Right.
nothing from
No,
me.
no,
And I
it's,
don't know.
no.
Like,
I'm
you
not
just
even
gonna
saying.
accept
From,
it.
I'm
I
not
don't
even
know
saying
if
from
I'm
the
that's
jump.
paying you X amount of money
Yeah.
for you to lead my team somewhere.
No,
and
you're
you
paying
can't
him
do
to
it.
play ball.
No,
Nah,
you
you get
pay
that kind of
him
money
to
lead
lead
If
your
you're
team
paying
to win a
KD
championship,
to lead
bro.
your team, then you're losing. You're lost from the jump.
Well, that's the problem. They expect him to do it. Everybody.
That's the problem. That's what I'm sitting there saying. Having the expectation that KD is going to lead your team is the problem.
Then why should any organization want him?
Because his basketball skill is that much better than everybody else's.
Al, that don't make sense.
what do
The
you-
goal
okay.
is to win. So if I want to win and this guy doesn't bring that, I don't care how good you are.
Okay,
I don't want
$100 million,
you.
you have an NBA team. You can start tomorrow.
You gonna put KD on your
put
team?
KD on your
Yes.
team?
So you don't care about winning championships.
You asked me if I'm putting KD on my team. You ain't asked me what I'm doing with everything else.
That was the first thing I asked you. I said it's about winning.
Mm-hmm.
If you just want to sell tickets, that's completely different. We're talking about winning a championship. Are you putting KD on your team?
I'm putting KD on my team because if you're looking for somebody who's going to push your team and make your players be better, I could put an Iguodala on my team.
He's not going to do that.
Listen to what I'm saying.
The money that you're paying him, which means that you're not going to be able to funnel that money and fill out your roster with players that you need to win a championship, because the dollars that you're paying him, you're putting into somebody who needs to be a great all-star as well as a leader. This is why Chris Paul gets the money that he gets. It's not the fact that he's as good as LeBron James or as good as KD. He's a leader, and he can be able to lead your franchise where you need him to go. That's why they give him the money. His reputation speaks for itself.
Granted, yes, you're right.
So I don't care how good you are. If you can't get me to where I need to be, it means nothing. As an owner, if I just want to sell tickets, cool. If the Nets just want to be a ticket seller, fine.
But you know,
But if the Lakers ever made a decision to get KD, do you ever think that he would survive in LA? He would not.
Hell no. KD
He would not, because
LA.
anything that he did prior to that,
he's
they don't care.
Anywhere you bring KD and you expect KD to be the leader,
That's the problem.
you're lost.
Well, that's the problem.
But why did Golden State win with KD?
Because he was somebody that was just he was a hired gun.
And not a lot of people.
There you
have
go.
that setup,
Right.
though.
But they
Not a
didn't
lot of
need
people
him
have
to win a
that setup.
championship. They wanted him.
They lost that year before?
Bro,
They lost in
they
the
lost in game
championship.
7.
In the championship.
Up 3-1. They won a championship the year before.
Yeah. They could have kept this thing rolling.
So they wanted him. They didn't need him.
They went and they got him.
Because they could.
Because remember, he
Why
left.
not?
They could. He wanted to go to the Warriors.
Why
He came
not?
knocking on their door.
No, they went knocking on his door.
Everyone's gonna check for KD. Everyone's
Right.
gonna check for KD.
Listen,
if KD's out there, you have to do your due diligence.
If I
Came knocking
if
on
I
their
have
door,
a
bro.
structure, it's just like the Cowboys back in the day when they brought in Charles Haley, right? Mm-hmm. If you have a structure in place with leaders like Troy Aikman and Irving and everybody there, you can bring in a Haley. Because at the end of the day, he's not going to disrupt your locker room. You're going to be able to have the leaders in the locker room to be able to control that. He's a mercurial talent, right? Mm-hmm. Mercurial personality. You got Steph, you have Kerr, you got Draymond, you have Clay, you have Iguodala. All of these dudes to be able to keep him in check to say, yo, bro, all you got to do is play basketball. We'll speak the interviews. We'll take all the hits. We'll take all the criticism. You just play. That was the perfect environment for what you're talking about. But when a team says, we want you to be the guy, you can't have that. Winning doesn't follow.
I agree with you.
Winning doesn't follow.
I agree with you with that. You cannot have that with KD. But you can have KD on your team and still win. You just can't have that. The problem isn't
I want to win a
KD.
championship. I don't care about
I'm
getting
not
to
talking
the
about
playoffs.
season.
The problem's not KD. The problem's the expectation of KD.
If you're the number 1 or number 2 player in the world, I do believe in a game like basketball 5-on-5, the expectation should be pretty goddamn high.
His talent is that, but KD is not like KD got here last year. He ain't get here yesterday. You knew what he was.
But
So when you
he's
sign, hold on,
literally in his apex prime right
yo,
now.
no,
Okay,
he's
then,
not in his apex prime.
so
He's
what
in like
Al
year
is saying-
15 right now. You knew what he was when you brought him
What
in.
Al
Your
is saying
prime
is that
stretch
Al is
time.
putting the blame on the teams.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't get down with that. Bro.
I can't.
Really.
In my opinion, as far as KD, you knew what he was when you brought him in here.
Okay.
Like he's been here too long for you to be fooled.
At some point, you got to change, though.
Yeah.
At some point, you got to grow up.
Yeah.
At some point, you got to grow up.
Especially if you're playing with younger players, you got to be able to direct traffic a little. Like,
At some point, you got to grow up.
You don't got to be a hard rock. We got to be able to direct traffic.
Joe Tsai knew what he signed.
Facts.